I told police someone was living in my boutique at night. They thought I was crazy until they installed cameras. I opened my small clothing boutique threadbare after saving for 5 years while working retail management. The space was perfect in my old converted Victorian with original hardwood floors, exposed brick, and enough character to justify the slightly higher prices I needed to charge for the Aqua vintage and independent design pieces I love. 3 months after opening, strange things started happening. I'd arrive in the morning to find merchandise subtly rearranged not enough to scream burglary, but enough that I questioned my own memory. Had I really left that 1960s cocktail dress on that display? Were those earrings arranged by color yesterday? Then I noticed inventory discrepancies. Not major theft is just a missing scarf here, a vanished bracelet there. The cash register was never touched, but the jar of mints I kept by the counter would be emptier than I remembered. Most disturbing were the changes to my office. My desk chair would be slightly warm in the morning. Files would be microscopically shifted. Once I found crumbs on my keyboard, when I was certain I'd never eaten at my desk. I installed a basic security system, but it never triggered. I changed the locks twice. Nothing helped. The final straw came when I found the half-empty cup of tea was still warm ice on my desk one morning. I hadn't made tea the previous day, and I always left it myself. I called the police. 2 officers arrived, took my statement, and exchanged glances. I recognized all too well my them. This woman is unhinged, look. One asked if I was taking any nasons. The other suggested I might be forgetting my own actions. They recommended I get some rest and perhaps talk to someone about my stress levels. I'd nearly given up when Jenny, a college student who worked part-time for me, mentioned something strange. Do you ever feel like everything smells different in the morning? Like someone's perfume or something? That's when I realized I wasn't imagining things. We both noticed the subtle change is desperate. I spent $2,000 I couldn't afford on a professional security system with multiple cameras. The security company thought I was purring-eyed when I insisted on cameras covering every angle, including the small storage space in the back and the tiny bathroom. 3 days later, my phone pinged at 3:17 a.m. with motion pouring from the boutique. I watched the live feed in horror as a ceiling panel in the bathroom slid aside and a woman lowered herself down. She was in her late 20s, dressed in layers of clothes. I recognized from my inventory, her hair neatly braided. She moved through my boutique with the confidence of someone at home, selecting a new scarf and trying on several pairs of earrings before my full-length mirror. She made tea in the small kitchenette, using my mug and my tea bags, then settled at my desk and began browsing on my computer. I called the police while watching her try on. Stick samples this time. 4 officers responded. They surrounded the building and entered, with weapons drawn, only to find her calmly sitting in my office chair. According to the officer who called me afterward, she seemed confused by their presence, asking, "Is the boutique opening early today?" The story emerged in pieces. Her name was Melissa. She'd been homeless for 8 months after losing her marketing job and apartment during a rainstorm. She discovered a goose vent cupboard behind my boutique that led into the crawl space above the bathroom ceiling. She'd been living there for nearly 2 months. The narrow space contained a sleeping bag, a small bag of possessions, and several items from my boutique she'd borrowed, including over $1,200 worth of clothing she was wearing in layers. She'd only take small items she thought wouldn't be missed, using the bathroom sink to wash off and my office computer to search for jobs at night. The officers found her reaction most disturbing. She wasn't defensive or apologetic. She seemed genuinely surprised that her living arrangement wasn't acceptable. "I always tidied up," she explained, "and I only took things nobody wanted. I decided not to press charges, on the condition she enter a housing assistance program." When officers found her journal, it was filled with meticulous notes about my business, my suggestions for display improvements, marketing ideas, even a detailed analysis of which products seemed to sell best based on her nighttime observations. 6 months later, after Melissa found stable housing and began therapy, I'd hired her part-time. Her marketing background and intimate knowledge of my merchandise made her exceptionally qualified. Customers love her style recommendation.